kindness your trademark, actionable steps, and a little wrap up. So I think everybody online right now is currently friends, family. I know you and you know me, but for anybody that's going to be watching the replay after, I'm Claire. I'm a parent to two young girls. My husband is Dave. I'm a kindness coach and a podcast host. My podcast is about making kindness your trademark. About 2016, I started a lifestyle blog, and it was about making your world full of kindness. And then I started a podcast about how people in San Luis Obispo and beyond are making kindness their trademark. And then I created a business in 2020 about how to grow your business by making kindness your trademark. So today I'm just going to go through pretty quickly the myths about having kindness as your trademark in the business place, how to connect with coworkers and teammates, how to learn workday self-care techniques that are awesome, and take away helpful, happy homework actions. Some of the myths about kindness in the workplace is that kindness is a weakness. So maybe you would equate kindness with being meek and quiet and a pushover and somebody who doesn't get to get a lot of growth opportunities in their career. But it's totally the opposite. People that are kindness icons are superheroes in their workplaces. And I have some concrete examples of kindness icons that I love in San Luis Obispo and who are national kindness heroes of mine. Number two, the cutthroat competitive culture is better for the bottom line than collaborative, empathetic workplace culture. So you might think that if you are cold and calculating and working hard to make sure that you look good at all costs and you're not a team player, you'll statistically be making 25% less than your coworkers who are kind and empathetic and compassionate and team players. Nice people are kind people. So it could be that a nice person is a kind person, but not necessarily, because nice is one thing and kindness is completely another thing. Um, if you look up the word nice in the dictionary, nice is somebody that is pleasant and unoffensive. And if you look up the word kindness, what do you think the difference between a nice person and a kind person is? It's action. So if you're a kind person, you're generous, you're loving, you're patient, you're generous in your time. And say an example of a nice deed versus a kind deed. If you are walking down the street going to lunch and somebody has a sign that says hungry, please help, and you smile and said, take care, good luck, and keep walking, that's a nice thing to say to somebody. But a kind thing would be say, hi, I'm running into CVS right now. Is there something that I could help you with? And they'd say, I'd love some milk and maybe a granola bar. And you're like, oh my gosh, totally, I could do that for you. And then you hand them the milk and granola bar and tell them to have a good day. That's a kind thing to do to somebody. Or say in a workplace setting, your coworker is saying on the elevator, hey, how's it going? Good, how are you? I'm good. I'm up for my yearly review with my boss and I'm feeling kind of nervous. And you're like, oh, good luck. I hope you'll do great. That's a nice thing to do. But a kind thing to do would be to say, let me shoot an email over to him so I can sing your praises. So I want to totally make sure that you have people rooting for you today. And then after the day's over, shoot him a text message and say, how'd it go? I was thinking of you. I hope that the review went awesome. So it's a kind thing to do to somebody. Remember that everyone you meet is afraid of something, loves something, and has lost something. H. Jackson Brown. So I love this quote, and it's kind of funny how you can forget this. If somebody at your workplace is somebody that you're is combative, or that your energy just isn't getting along with their energy. I had a situation where somebody that worked in my company, but not in my office, just kept coming back at me, like being really combative, and I didn't really understand why. And I talked to my friend about it, And he gave me really good advice. And he said, you know what? That person is miserable and it's this, what their emails are about is not about you, it's about them. And you have an amazing life, an amazing family and friends and people that love you. So don't even be bothered by it. Just keep your energy high and keep doing your best. And just know that it's not about you. And then later, I talked to a coworker of that woman's, and I found out that she had recently lost both of her parents and that she was losing her husband to cancer, that he was in hospice. And not that like it matters really the reason why, but just to remember that everyone has something going on that you know nothing about. So be kind, be patient if you can. Benefits of workplace kindness. So this is like physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. This is in your body as you're making kindness your trademark. You have increased energy levels. Maybe a Red Bull could increase your energy, but being kind and making somebody smile also increases your energy. Increasing positive perspectives. This always makes me smile when I think about this because the company I work for, I've been there for 2 decades and we've had some ups and downs. And during the down times, they were rough and challenging, but after the fact, we crack each other up talking about the challenging times. And we're able to do that because we love each other and we don't point fingers and we're a team. And we're kind to each other, whether our profits are up or down. Increase well-being, higher job satisfaction. That's an awesome one. It means so much to be satisfied and happy in your job because we're there so much of our lives. We see our work family more than our family at home sometimes. Statistics. So talking about the bottom line, did you guys know that 60% of employees would be willing to work for slightly less money if kindness was their workplace culture? Did you know that 76% of employees would be willing to work more hours? And 96% of people would be willing to stay in a job that had showed them kindness and empathy during a rough time in their personal lives? These statistics kind of surprised me, but when I thought about it, it makes total sense because I personally identify with this. I I am at a computer software company where I had a personal crisis. It was about 3 years after I started working there. I just had a breakdown mentally and I couldn't show up to work and I didn't call anybody. It was a very severe incident and I thought, oh my God, I messed up that job. I'm not going to be working there anymore and it's too bad. To my surprise and delight, not only did the owner, when I finally called to check in after my hospital stay was over, he didn't tell me he was going to be mailing my last check to me. He said, Claire, you mean so much to us, and we don't care about you missing work. We just care about you and your well-being. What can we do to help you? And he said, you don't need to worry about coming back tomorrow. Take as much time as you need, and we'll be here for you when you're ready to come back. And I thought, oh my God, I am so lucky that this is my workplace. And I've been loving working with them and loyal ever since, trying to make up to them the kindness that they showed me back in it was probably 2004 that happened. So I definitely have seen attrition rates where different people in our town are leaving to go to other jobs that pay more money. But I feel that we've kept our employees. We've been able to retain so many good employees because we have a trademark of kindness and compassion in our office. So I personally can see this being the case. Statistics. Talking about replacing an employee that has left the company, we know that people don't leave jobs, they leave bad bosses. So when somebody's overly critical or negative or just not making an employee feel supported, the employee goes and looks for another job and gets hired somewhere else at a new place. And the cost for the company to replace that employee that has been lost is about 33% of that employee's salary. So it goes up from entry level positions to a manager higher up in leadership. the cost to replace that person is about 80% of their salary for the year. So it's really imperative that we have happy employees in our workspace. This next quote says, "An intention is like planting a seed for the qualities you aspire for in your life: health, connection, inspiration, and a sense of purpose. Often, when you plant a seed, you don't know how it will blossom, but you will trust that with attention, it will grow into something beautiful." Malika Chopra. Um, this makes me smile because one time I was at the front desk and we had an employee, uh, we had a candidate come in for an interview, and I could tell that the person didn't drive over. They had taken public transportation and it was raining that day. So when the interview was over, they asked if it was okay if they could stay in the lobby while they waited and found out the bus schedule. And I said, yes, of course you can hang out in our lobby, but um, could I give you a ride? And he said, "What? Are you serious? You would do that for me?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." My sibling had no car in college, and I would love it if somebody would take care of him on a day like this. So would you let me just take my lunch on that side of town and I could run you home? And he said, "Yeah." I ended up friending him on LinkedIn, and I still know him. He did not get the job at our company, but he's still somebody that is in my network, and you just never know what it means to somebody when you do a little kindness. So, things my kindness heroes and sheroes have in common. As I started interviewing people for my kindness podcast, I started finding that they had a lot of the same habits they did during their day. Meditation and prayer is a huge one. So when I was interviewing Aaron Gomez, he told me that he meditates. And when I watched him in action on city council for San Luis Obispo, people had really charged arguments and high emotions, and he was always able to respond versus react. And he had very thoughtful, beautiful responses to people, and his energy was so calming and disarming to people. And I just thought, it's like the Dalai Lama. If somebody said something upsetting to him, he wouldn't lose his temper. He would respond in a way that would be ideal, that you would aim for. Boundaries, this is a good one. Heidi Harmon said that she puts a lot of work into her role as the mayor of San Luis and personally as well, but she doesn't allow things on Sundays. That's her day. And it makes me think about people that are in power. Do they have strong boundaries? Yes. Oprah does not sit down for dinner with Stedman, checking her cell phone and wondering about if she's done enough for the day. She shuts down, she's done what she's going to do, and she has firm boundaries in place. Proactive and kindness. I got to interview Dr. Rhonda Beeman. She's a professor at Cal Poly, and she told me that at the beginning of the quarter at Cal Poly, when she teaches, she goes through her roster of the students that have signed up to be in her class, and she looks at their photos and she sets an intention and says, "We are going to have a great quarter together. You, I love you. You, I love you." And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never heard of a teacher doing that. Like, if only every leader, teacher, manager was so proactive in their kindness towards others. And connectors, super connectors. My friend Kylie randomly sent me a message on Facebook saying, "Claire, you're one of my most favorite people, and also my friend is one of my favorite people, and you guys need to know each other." And I thought, I love Kylie so much. I cannot believe that she would think that of me and recommend me to somebody. And it made me feel so good that day, and it made me feel inspired to do the same. So I'm kind of on the lookout now when I'm around people that I know someone else in my life has a passion that they share or has a goal they're working on that they could hook up and better each other. I try to be proactive in connecting people that I love now. Real life examples of kindness heroes. Aaron Steed is the owner of Meathead Movers. His brother and him started Meathead Movers in the 90s, and he has gone on to grow this business to be incredibly successful. I think he's been featured in Fortune magazine, Forbes, the Los Angeles Times. Not only is he successful at running the moving business, he's also created a nonprofit, enddv.com, and he's given people a way to help end domestic violence. Um, he has had so many people call in saying, I'm living in a situation I need to get out of and I don't have a way to do it. Can you help? And so he was smart and he went to the local shelter in town and coordinated. So now they have a thing where people that are survivors of domestic violence can get out of their home in about an hour. So him and his people go and take care of it and get them moved and set up in their new place. And he not only has he started this, but he's just constantly out and about in the community helping people in different ways. And I feel that his people that work there know that him and his place of work are committed to excellence in every way. And they feel really good working there. And people say, oh, you're one of the meathead movers. I just love what they're doing. They're like, yeah, I work there. April Smith, my friend April, who I just got to see this weekend at a charity event that she invited me to. She is working at Century 21, and she works very, very hard with the nonprofit Rise. She has put tons of hours into running this event called Wine, Women, and Shoes to raise money for them. And also at her job, she gives discounts to people that are veterans and first responders, and she's constantly looking for ways to help people um, who need things for their houses. And she just thinks about how to be a servant and how to be a service first. And that's why she's so successful at what she does. Aaron Gomez, he was the owner of the Gold Concept downtown, and he really was an ego warrior. Like I said, he also worked on the San Luis Obispo board and the city council, and he has gone out of his way to research the best ways to be a best human and take care of the earth and be a steward. And I'm amazed at the things that he's doing, that he has done in his business and he's doing in his personal life. I follow him and love what he is doing. Next, I'm going to talk about famous examples of people who are kindness heroes. Oprah, she had a job reporting the news in Chicago at the beginning of her career, and her boss told her that he had to let her go because when things were funny, she couldn't stop smiling, and when things were sad, she'd have tears in her eyes reporting. And maybe that didn't work for that person, but that is her trademark, is being an empathetic communicator. And that's why celebrities and leaders in this world will go to Oprah over other people to interview with her, because she's amazing at what she does. And she didn't change because somebody criticized her style. Michelle Obama. So when I talk about kindness is not a weakness, it's a strength, and the strongest people are kind people. Think about when somebody was talking badly about her family or questioning where her husband was born. She doesn't put up with nonsense, and she has no time for that. And she says, when they go low, we go high. So I feel like people just love and adore Michelle and want her to run for president because she's so kind and so strong at the same time. Lady Gaga, I fell in love with her when I heard her music, but I truly, truly fell in love with her and became the biggest fan when I saw her speak at the Women's March, and I started to see her stand up for the LGBTQA community. And I think that's why she's not just someone that people love her music, but they love her and her soul, because she is so concerned about people around her and so concerned about getting rid of bullying. And that's why people are just mega fans of hers. Being listened to and heard is one of the greatest desires of the human heart, and those who learn to listen are the most loved and respected. So being heard is important for customers. And when you say, how's it going today? And they say, good. And you go, okay, have a nice day. And they leave. It's a pleasant transaction. But if you ask a few more questions, maybe you could get somebody to open up about what's going on and you could have an amazing interaction with them. Um, I was working at a store last year and somebody came through my checkout line and I said, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Are you making blessing bags? Do you have these bags of socks, toothpaste, soap, deodorant?" She goes, "No, I'm making them for the firefighters up in Santa Cruz." And I said, "Oh, you deserve a discount." And then she's all, "Oh, really? Thank you so much for doing that for me." And I said, "Thank you so much for being such a good person and supporting the firefighters in our community." And I felt really excited to be able to do that, and she felt good to be able to receive a discount, and I loved the place that I worked because they gave me the freedom to give out discounts when I saw it appropriate. Someone also came through my line, and she had about 100 packs of crayons and 100 packs of markers, and I said, "What are you doing with all these art supplies?" And she said, "I'm a teacher, and I have students that, I don't want them to have to worry about if they can get these supplies or not, so I'm getting them for them." And I said, "Oh, you deserve a discount." And she said, "Oh, really? Thank you so much." And I said, "Thank you for being such a kind teacher. Those kids are so lucky to have you." And so I felt like the people that came through my line, um, they were doing something good, and then I recognized them for doing something good, and then they felt, really good about the whole interaction. Action steps. So, in the workplace, let me just check this out really quick. We're doing okay on time. We're halfway through. Um, in my workplace at the computer software company where I work, we've had, like I said, really bad, hard, painful, really sad days. And we've had amazingly fun and delightful days too. And I would try and weave kindness into both those kind of days. So maybe, oh, I don't know, it was like 6 years ago, we learned that one of our most beloved coworkers had a terminal illness, and, we wanted so badly to do something to make him and his family feel loved. So the director of our company said, "We're gonna do a garage sale and just put this together and see what money we can earn and give it to them, to let their kids know that we love them and wanna give them money for their education." Um, I I f I feel like we've lost maybe 4 or 5 of our teammates over the years, and, it's always really important for me to make an effort to collect thoughts from people that worked with that person because maybe the family members never met them or never understood the, connections that we had with their loved one. So, I I collected memories from our friends at work, and we put it in a little book, and then we gave it to the, teammates' partner so that they had it, so that they could, in their own time, review what their partner meant to us. Um, something we like to do at our office is recognize birthdays, but I'm pretty mindful that not everybody likes to have their birthday celebrated or in the same way. So, one person might love to have a singing telegram and have the whole office stare at them while they get a song sang to them. Some people would rather die than have that happen to them. And so I try and think, what is this person's personality? What would make them feel seen and heard and loved? And if they say, "I don't want my birthday celebrated," I don't say, "Yes, you do. I know better than you do," and have a big thing. One thing we did for a coworker was we knew his favorite sci-fi movie, and I saw the actor was on Cameo, and the actor was doing personalized birthday messages for a small fee. So we collected money from managers in our office, and we had that actor say a little special birthday message to the employee, and that was really fun for everyone, and, the employee wasn't embarrassed or stressed or have anxiety over that. It was really fun and memorable. Um, work support. If you see a coworker struggling with a deadline, offer to take over a task. This is this is something that somebody in my office did for me. As a receptionist, I have certain jobs that are collating binders and sending out shipments of CDs. And somebody that had a position that was way higher up than me saw that I was stressed out and I was struggling with trying to get some binders finished. And put into a FedEx and sent out by the end of the day. And I also had to get my daughter from school right after that. He stopped what he was doing and came over and started collating and putting papers into binders with me, and I will never forget that. It was, like, maybe a little thing for him, maybe not, but it's something that I'll always forget. I will always remember, and I will always think about that, and if I can help him when he's needs help or somebody else in our office, because he did that for me. Um, First day welcomes. So when somebody comes to a new company, they just are completely in someplace new. Maybe they don't know a single person out of a company of 100 people. So if you're on the elevator with that person and you go, "Oh, hey, it's your first day. I hope you have a good week." And they say, "Thanks." And then you walk away. That's a nice thing to do. But a kind thing would be to do, "Oh my gosh, come over here. Let me introduce you to Josh. I see you're wearing a Vikings sweatshirt. He's totally Vikings fan, and you guys will be buddies because of that." Or, "Oh, Ryan's studying biomedical at Cal Poly also. Let me come introduce you to Ryan. Maybe we should head out after work today and grab a drink together and get to know each other." Or, "We're going to Taco Tuesday at Taco Roco. Come with us." So doing an action to extend your friendship to them and give them little um, gossip, and I mean gossip in the fun way. You never want to say anything negative about somebody else in the office behind their back. You would never want that to get back to you, but you could do positive gossip and say, "This is Lisa. She's the coolest people I know. You are so lucky to have her as a boss." Or, "This is JP. His dog Calvin is a cool dog, and if you love dogs, totally take a break and come say hi to Calvin and JP." Um, your ideas, plug in some of your ideas that sound good to you that you could imagine putting into your workday. Next quote, "Our social world with practices, assignments of prestige and power is not fixed. Rather, we construct it in words, stories, and silence. But we need not acquiesce in arrangements that are unfair and one-sided. By writing and speaking against them, we may hope to contribute to a better and fairer world." Critical race theory, the cutting edge. So I work in San Luis Obispo, and when George Floyd was murdered, there was a lot of people in town that were putting Black Lives Matter signs up in their store and even coming up with fundraisers to donate to local nonprofits. And I just noticed that on social media and people's newsletters, they were including articles that they found helpful on understanding what was going on. And I felt a big shift in consumerism in about 2020 and 2021. Personally, moved away from shopping at big corporation and box stores if I could. And I wanted to be very mindful about where I was putting my money. And I wanted to give to female business owners. I wanted to give to Black artisans that were making really neat art in our town. And I wanted my clothes to be ethically sourced. Like Aaron and his brother Devin at the Gold Concept, I knew that their jewelry was not exploiting people in Africa, that their jewelry was responsibly made, and it was something that you would be proud to pick up and wear. So thinking about how to be a kind business owner in the community, there's lots of cool and fun ways to make kindness your trademark that aren't uncomfortable, to be an ally, and to be somebody that people would want to go to because you're having an event that donates profits towards a nonprofit in town, or that you just have in your brick and mortar artisans that are doing great work. Also, social media is huge, and it's kind of like natural to think, "Oh, this is another hairstylist. Oh, this is another clothing shop owner. They're my competitor." The more that you shout out people around you and bring to the awareness what good they're doing, it'll come back to you. So that person will come back and shout you out on their social media, and then customers that are on their page who might not know about you will see you and that will be their touch point of getting to know you and saying, "Oh, that was so neat that they did that." Um, I like Sheila K. Chocolates in town. She has really beautiful, beautiful chocolates, and she's constantly shouting out, "Oh, this wedding had my chocolates, and look at this florist, look at this dressmaker, oh, look at this event planner." And I just try really hard to do that in my social media. I don't always make it about me and what I'm doing and what I'm creating. I look about the amazing people that I know that are entrepreneurs and the good things they're doing, and let my people know what they're up to. Workday self-care. This is so much fun. Morning pre-work. Um, I have this thing called Savers on my phone. It's an app, The Miracle Morning. And the Savers, I could have a whole hour-long talk just about the Savers, but I'll just let you research it if you're interested. If you want to have a really awesome start to your day, the Savers are silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, reading, and scribing. So Hal Elrod was one of the guests on my kindness podcast, and he talks about the miracle morning and how he's used this miracle morning to make his family life so happy and his work life so successful. And I highly recommend you checking it out if you don't already use it. At work, self-care. Excuse me. So I don't want any customers to be mistreating you or your people. So have no qualms about asking somebody that is not being respectful or kind to leave your establishment. Um, if you have Yelp reviews or comments that are less than kind, you may feel free to ignore them, or you may respond to them in kindness. And I found both of those ways will make you look good by not going and responding with negativity. At work, playlists are really important. And if you have a space where you can put music on or even something on a television, like you could put something maybe people haven't had contact with before. Like if you have a pizzeria, you could put the Kindness Diaries up on the TV and people would be able to see what Leon is doing with his kindness travels. Um, Music, you could have Spice Girls and Keb Mo and Demi Lovato and all sorts of things that are just happy inducing and bring fun and happiness into your days. And if you are managing people, you don't have to be serious all the time. You can make jokes and compliment people and catch them doing good and speak to it. And when I first started my career, I was working in fast food. I was working at the counter, and I remembered being so nervous about getting called out for not doing something right. And my boss would often say, "Claire, I need to speak to you." And I'd have to walk over and say, "Yes." And he'd say, "I didn't see you check that person's ID. You're not to be giving out 55 and plus discounts without checking." And I said, "Sorry." So that was one managerial style that I had. And then the computer software company where I work now, I was at my desk and some woman came up and said, "Are you the trash company? I can't find it." And I said, "Oh, they're not labeled very well in this business center. Let me show you where it's at." So I got up from my desk and I walked her up to the elevator and I walked downstairs and I pointed her, "This right here is where you're wanting to go." And then I went upstairs and my boss called me over and said, "Claire, I need to talk to you." And I thought, "Oh gosh, I did something wrong. I'm going to get in trouble." And he said, "I saw what you did back there." And I was about to say, "I'm sorry." And he said, "I am so happy that you did that for her. That woman was old and didn't have a phone and she didn't know where she was going. And you were so kind to show her exactly where she needed to go." And I thought, "Oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna get in trouble because I left the desk unattended." And he said, "I am so proud of you, and I'm so happy that you are the cover of our book and that you represent our company, Claire." And I thought, "Oh my gosh, what a different way to be managed and how good this feels." So if you have people that are in your care and you look for the good and speak it to them, they will be so happy to work for you and so happy to continue doing good. After work, I know that when I get home from work, one of my things I do is immediately take off my blazer, my heels, whatever, take off and I put on my comfy clothes. And that's when I'm ready to be loving and cuddly with my family and get into home mode. But if I'm having a rough day, I think in the past, I've made the mistake of having a glass of wine or doing something to numb what I'm feeling, but now I've learned to give my partner a heads up, and I'll send a text message just simply saying, "You know what, babe? This day was really, really rough, and I'm feeling really fragile. Can you just be gentle with me tonight? And if I have a quick temper and irritable, I'm so sorry. It has nothing to do with you guys. I'm really just having a rough work day." Okay, wrapping up. How can you make kindness your trademark this week? Looking at some of the examples, how to be kind to a coworker, choose one to implement into your week. The acts of kindness that don't cost money are just as valuable and probably more in people's hearts. So one time I left for lunch and I came back and there was this whole slew of unicorn printouts that was all over my desk and taped to my monitor. And I'm like, who the heck did this? Did Dave come by when I was at lunch? And my friend Linda had written me, "You are so special. You are a magical unicorn." And just, I didn't know her that well, but I was totally overwhelmed with feelings of gratitude that I get to work with her. And I was plotting on how I could pay her back and repay her for her kindness. She actually literally a few years later found out that I was having a rough time personally, and she took it upon herself to go to Amazon and order a unicorn mug for me and have it sent to my home, and I just opened it, and I was awestruck that she would do that for me. Linda and I had never even hung out outside of work, and she took the time to do that for me, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, Linda, you are a doll. I love you so much." Um, I have a sharing circle here. Please think about a time where you were shown kindness in the workplace that made you feel truly seen, valued, and loved. As I'm reading this, I'm thinking about a time that my mom got very, very sick and was in the intensive care unit for quite a while. It was maybe 2 weeks when I had my little toddler, and I was hopping back and forth between the hospital and my work every day. And I had 3 different days at the hospital that someone set up lunch for my dad and my brother and I. So, we got sandwiches, we got donuts, and then, again, sandwiches delivered to us so that we could, just focus on being with her and chatting with her doctors and nurses, and, it felt amazing that, people I work with would do that for me and for my family. Um, Okay, think about a time that you felt truly seen and truly loved at your workplace. What were you struggling with or feeling right before you received this act of kindness? Who was involved? What did it feel like to be on the receiving end of the kind gesture? Did you thank the giver? Um, it's cool to write handwritten thank you notes to people, and a cool thing about thank yous is that there is no expiration date. It can never expire. It's never a bad thing to write a thank you note for something that happened in the past. And I've written a thank you note for a deed that somebody did to me 2 or 3 years after it happened. And guess what? It feels good still when you get it, even if it's late. Um, When people received acts of kindness that mean the most to them, it's usually not when they're at the top of their game and everything is going right in their life. It's usually when they're facing the most challenging, difficult time of their entire life that somebody showed them an act of kindness and it really, really mattered to them. So, if somebody in your workspace lost a loved one or is going through um, suicidal thoughts or struggling with mental illness in some way, um, it it's uncomfortable to talk with them about what's going on with them. But even if you don't know what to say, if you say something, it will be better than saying nothing. And you don't have to say anything profound or anything except "I'm so sorry. How are you feeling today?" or something like that. When when somebody loses a partner, it's probably a tendency is to just ignore the person or not bring it up because you don't want to make them sad. But something you could do that would be really kind would be to write a note and say something that you loved about their partner and how you're sorry that they're gone. And you will never, ever regret being kind. Resources. I have really, really good resources that I pull from to incorporate in my workday, being the office manager at my computer software company. Newsletters I subscribe to. Anti-Racism Daily is something I signed up for last year, and every single day it gives me so much education and inspiration, and it's really bite-sized pieces of information, and they're actionable, and they're so easy to understand really complex issues. I just highly, highly recommend Anti-Racism Daily if you're interested in being a socially conscious business owner. Books. Channel Kindness is Lady Gaga's book that her foundation Born This Way. It's amazing. Humankind is stories of human kindness. The man that wrote it, his wife was going through a serious medical diagnosis, and the kindness that her friends and his children's classmates and the whole community showed up in ways that he never imagined would be possible. I just love his book. Movies, I Am. So I Am reminds us that we are all part of the collective humanity, and that naturally our tendency is to be a kind and good person. And the little clips they show of the babies and toddlers, their natural tendency is being helpful for those around them. It's just so wonderful, and I love that movie. If you're looking for positive media to take in during your week, I would look at The Kindness Diaries, which is available on Netflix, and his new series is available on Apple TV. He basically goes around the world with no money and asks people if he can stay with them and eat with them, and that's the goal, is to go around the world. And you will be so tickled at what happens on his adventures. The podcast that I love is the Kindness Podcast from Nicole Phillips via NPR. Her guests talk about how they've took challenges in their lives and heartbreaks and setbacks and made it into something beautiful. A mother who has lost her son took his memory and created a nonprofit, and now every day she works to make people's lives better. And I just love the Kindness Podcast. And then also, if you're interested in stories coming out of San Luis Obispo, Clare Kindness Podcast. I just love what people in SLO are doing, and I just love talking to people that are making kindness their trademark. And it's so fun learning about all the goodness that's going on in the world, because there's so much goodness going on. Influencers that I follow on Instagram, Upworthy.com. If you follow one positive news site, I think it should be Upworthy, but also Throw Confetti is really fun to follow. And the Positive Change Movement is started by my friend Elizabeth, and she does things that are really fun, like knitting mittens and hats and leaving them out for people to find with little love notes, or making lunches for people, or finding somebody that's lost everything in a fire and starting a GoFundMe for them and bringing the money to them. Like, all of these sites will make you feel so good every single one of their posts that you take in. The apps that I love are Calm, because in the morning it sets my day right, and in the evening it helps me wind down. Night times are really hard for me, and I like scroll social media a lot, and Calm just really helps shift from being on to versus winding down for bedtime. And then touchnote.com. If you ever have an event at your company and people are socializing, a really kind thing to do is to grab them and their family and say, "Would you like a photo?" And they'll say, "Yeah," and then snap it and then actually print it out and give it to them. TouchNote is a thing that you touch the photo on your phone and send it, and it comes out in a postcard to that person. They will treasure that photo and have it on their fridge and always think about what a good time they had at your event. It's a wonderful gift to give. Article I have for you to check out for inclusive language, that this was very eye-opening for me to read as somebody that wants to be a leader in diversity and inclusion. Crisis Support, Blurted Out is an amazing website for mental health resources, and then general work support, blurtedout.com. Love them. This is my email, clarekindness@gmail.com. This is my social media, Clare Kindness. I would love to follow you and your businesses and support you and connect with your people. And I have a website where I offer my services, and I have a newsletter where I offer tips on making kindness your trademark. I want to say thank you to the Women's Business Center for letting me speak. I graduated from their Explore Design Launch course last year, and it was one of the highlights of my whole year, and the kindness that they showed me was incredible. Liz Christopherson and Barbara Burgess took the time to create special diplomas for us and have a graduation ceremony for us that graduated, and then they actually printed out a certificate for me that they created, telling me that they appreciated my kindness, and they made it into a little certificate, and I have it hanging in my office, and I just feel incredibly honored to be presenting to you today. I've personally taken many of your webinars, learning QuickBooks, marketing, accounting, and I'm just thrilled to be speaking to you today, and thank you so, so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Claire. Again, I am going to share my screen.
I think if anyone has questions, I'm going to hand it over to Angelique.
Yes, one moment here. Perfect. Okay, thank you so much, Claire. I just want to thank you again for bringing our presenter today. Once again, Claire is the founder of the Kindness Club. Claire created the club to improve employee engagement and give back to the community. She is a wife, mother, friend, and activist, writer, podcaster, kindness coach, and worked for 22 years managing a corporate office at a computer software company, as you mentioned during her webinar. And Claire's goal is to help whether you're looking to build an empowered team, improve your reputation for customer service, or lean into the transformative power of kindness. And thank you again, Claire. That was great information. For those of you who want more help with how to grow your business in 2022 by making kindness your trademark, or if you want any additional advice on other subjects related to the business, please contact us for no cost one-on-one consulting with one of our experts. I have put the link in the chat. In addition, you will receive a link to today's workshop in the coming days. And for all of our previously recorded workshops, please visit the Women's Business Center library on our YouTube channel, which you can access from the homepage of our website as well as in the chat. I'm also going to share, we have some upcoming workshops that you may be interested. We have managing documents and images on the computer in Spanish. That'll be Monday, April the 4th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Understanding your rights and obligations. Oh, one moment. Understanding your rights and obligations. And that will be, I do apologize. My presentation just stopped here. Sorry, understanding your rights and obligations as an immigrant. That one also is in Spanish, Monday, April 11th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. We also have You Want to Write a Book, Now What? That'll be on Thursday, April 14th from 2 to 2 p.m. We'll also have a Marketing with Facebook Ads on Wednesday, April 20th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. And we have HR 101 for small businesses, and that'll be on Monday, April 25th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Okay. And if there are any questions, I'll go ahead and check the chat here. No questions, Claire, but just like everyone is congratulating you on what a great job you did. And I agree, you did it great. And then we are at the close of our workshop today. Thank you again, Claire, for sharing your expertise with us. And we are here at the Women's Business Center. Wish all of you a wonderful day and rest of your week and weekend. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.